Welcome to our Innovation Fireside Chat Series. With me today is Stephen Blum, founder and Chief Technology Officer at PubNub. Welcome.
Hi. Yeah, thank you.
And Nelson Petracek, Chief Technology Officer at Tibco Software.
Good day.
Thank you for joining us. So, I thought we would just have a casual conversation about some of your opinions in some areas today. And I was going to start out with trends and talk about, have each of you talk about what you see as some trends going on today in the industry. Maybe provide some use cases that you may have seen that go along with those trends. That give you examples. Maybe even a little bit of just your own experience and insight into that.
Yeah,
So,
and just like setting the topic, we're specifically talking blockchain.
Right, yes, yeah.
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 You kept it pretty general, it's just trends.
We're just
so-
going to talk about trends. It'll be
Hey,
fine.
if you want to branch off and you want to off of that one, that's great too.
That's true, yes.
Yeah. Well, the big trend, right, is all these ICOs, right? Initial coin offerings you see coming around. And a lot of them are tokens, or some of them build new chains like directly, and that seems to be the main focus of the blockchain. Where can you get all like the profits and the money, right? It's all right there.
That's so true.
Yeah, and a lot of people are seeing problems with it, right? Because you can just create a
Right.
coin offering and then book it, right?
Sure.
You can just run, and this happens twice.
Yeah.
I think the biggest one, what was it, 1.6 billion?
That's the way, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge, some of the ones that you see. I mean, even organizations like, was it Kodak and Long Island Iced Tea?
Oh,
Right? I mean, it's
Right.
organizations that you wouldn't even think would do such a thing. I mean, they do it, look at the response that they've got. So yeah, definitely that is one of the trends in the industry. From an enterprise standpoint, I think we see it too. There are definitely the ICOs, but we find that a lot of those guys are looking at all their other enterprise use cases and examples and things like that. They don't want to get caught up in the hype of maybe of all the ICOs and create a white paper
Yeah,
worth
step
$50 million or whatever. But definitely you see it also in the enterprise, I would say. So that the use cases there may or may not be always a fit, depending on the way they look at it. But definitely there's renewed, or not, I guess not so much even just renewed, but definitely a growth and interest in that across the board.
Yeah,
So,
I would say like fulfillment, like in terms of like tracking how things are from source to finish.
Yeah.
That's the one that I see as a regular, real world like blockchain use case, right, in the industry. And when you try to apply to other ones, you start just trying to figure out maybe like the DMV, right, titles,
Sure.
and deeds of ownership, right. Seems pretty basic,
Right.
That's just foundational. You don't really need blockchain for this stuff. I mean, you really could just ledger it. What is the big part about blockchain, right?
Sure.
You can't make alterations to it,
Right.
right?
Well, that can be a myth because forks,
Right.
right? So
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like,
you can totally-
we kind of went down this path, but oops, that was a mistake. So let's kind of back up and go this way, right? So arguably it's immutable, yes, but it's kind of let's back it up and go a little bit further. I know a lot of the enterprises we talk to too are very much along the lines of, well, what if I make a mistake? I've got smart contracts or programming logic, whatever is actually embedded in blockchain.
Yeah.
I made a mistake. Now what do I do? How do I compensate or kind of back that out, given the immutable nature of the append ledger and this kind of thing, right? So it's an interesting debate. Absolutely.
Imagine like GDPR, right? You have to have the right to be forgotten.
Right,
So
yes.
it's, hey, please
Yeah.
delete my data. Oh, sorry, it's
Yeah.
not blockchain.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
It's distributed all over the place.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, absolutely. So we first we go on and on with all the trends. There's trends in the technology. How many platforms are there now in the blockchain standpoint? There's got to be there's hundreds of these things. I mean, the way that you look at it, there's always these little flavors and forks and this and that, the other thing. So yeah, definitely a way of looking at it, different use cases, different verticals. Probably the only general trend that you can say is that there's a lot of hype.
Yes.
Right? And you got to try and separate reality from hype.
So let's switch gears into business value, and maybe let's just talk about one of the things we've seen, as a Tibco. One of the things we hear when we talk to analysts as well, first of all, we hear it's not enterprise ready. Outside of cryptocurrency and other things that have been around for a long time, we've heard from numerous analysts that when blockchain technologies today really haven't thought about the enterprise nature of software, like a CRM or something like that.
Right.
But one of the big value areas you see where there is value to companies is this area of smart contracts. A little bit what you're talking about with titles and whether, with a deed or something like that. And so how do you see us, considering what's going on and what we are seeing in the industry and some of the things that are also going to happen with blockchain? How do we start to derive value, business value? Because if there isn't business value, why would a company do that?
Right, yeah. Why spend time and money to research and add this new thing to your company if you could just use a database?
Exactly. In fact, we heard exactly those words from a recent analyst.
Yeah, we did actually, yeah.
And she had investigated almost all the examples that she had seen of where they didn't implement blockchain, they could have just used a database.
Sure.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you said not enterprise ready, there's typically, wait, no, you're thinking this thing has been existing in the wild for so long and everyone's trying to hack it for money, right? So it's super secure. But that's not what enterprise ready means. Enterprise ready means that you can integrate into it, you can track access. Who had access? When did they have it? What did they access with their access, right? Having a full trail of all those things and identity, right? As opposed to blockchain, right? Where it's completely anonymous, or Bitcoin.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Completely anonymous. You don't need to have identity. It's not forced.
Right.
But for enterprise, that might be something you do.
Might be a little more important than the enterprise, yes, yeah, absolutely.
And then, things that, both of our companies do in terms of movement of data, getting integration areas ready. Sure. When you start to implement a smart contract, there certainly is all kinds of other systems and other things that need to be involved in, right? It isn't just a loose thing sitting out there all by
Yeah,
itself
you
anymore.
know, like blockchain says, I don't need that mainframe system anymore. That currently runs my entire airline operations, right? It's like, well, hey, no, that's not quite the way that this is going to work, right? So, yeah, there's definitely that aspect of how do I bring a blockchain technology staff into my organization, prove the business value, like you said. And if it's a situation where I have two participants that make up a network, and chances are the business value is not there for the blockchain implementation. To bring it into the organization, I got to figure out how to get data to it, how do I get data from it, how do I share the information, how do I analyze information, how do I create APIs so that other people can consume the technology. These are all enterprise level things that often people forget about. Never mind the performance and security and what consensus algorithm actually is going to make sense in this context and all those kinds of things.
Yeah, definitely not the Bitcoin.
Yeah, definitely not the Bitcoin. That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Something I think we've heard on the business value side too, and we'll switch to future in just a second here, but is that from your guys' perspective, I think you both believe it's something that's going to happen, right? It's a blockchain. It just is going to happen. There's a lot of myths right now that we need to overcome. Certainly making it more enterprise ready needs to happen.
Sure.
And so, what do you see? So I guess we back in. So if you look at the platforms, you got Hyperledger, you got Ethereum, you got R3 Quarter, right? Blah 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 blah. They're inventing new ones every day. Do we think one of those guys are the guys, or
There'll be a main one, right? There'll be someone everyone at Dawson talks about. There's always that one pack leader, right? What does it feel like to you guys right now in terms of the pack leaders? It's like,
Oh yeah, that's an interesting conversation. I mean, the best I can do is touch upon the ones that people talk about the most. Maybe that's the word that identify pack leader. Maybe not, right? Hyperledger project is one that one always hears about. Ethereum is a lot of the forks that are meant for more of a permission blockchain deployment. People always talk about that. We tend to ignore Bitcoin just because people are not looking at a public blockchain implementation when it comes to the enterprise. So we don't personally hear as much about that. And then things like R3 Corda, some of these other consortiums where a bunch of companies have got together and have got this technology and want to see what value it can bring. So there's different flavors of that. I once heard a comment where the statement was, well, the best blockchain technology is probably the one that hasn't even been invented yet. Right, so we'll see how all this pans out, right? Because you got the new emerging platforms too, Neo and the Cardanas and all these other technology platforms.
right. So isn't the Cardano one that's still kind of theoretical? It's not really implemented yet.
Yeah, you get
Some wide
yeah,
vision.
you've got some wide, very broad vision, and go get the white paper, some initial work that's definitely been done. But yeah, so that'd be interesting when this all comes across.
It's definitely. Do you think like the best programming language of like the smart contract? Do you think that's going to stay like is that going to change? Like,
Well, I'm going to turn this one back to you because yeah, I don't. That's another interesting one. I mean, look at Solidity.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's going to kind of go away, right?
You think so?
I think
It'll probably end up just being
that
JavaScript
could be
or-
something else. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. I mean, they're working on was it Viper
Okay.
and different flavors of that, and other conversations, approaches are being discussed as well. So it'll be really interesting to see. Smart contracts are one of those things that it can be hard for people to understand. It can be hard for people to think about how they want to write them. And we've seen the impact of what happens when there's a bug in a smart contract.
Yeah.
So how do you prevent that? How do you make it deterministic? And all these things are sort of additional concepts that people need to think about that maybe they weren't as focused on prior, right?
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
I don't know what your thoughts are on that. Is that
Well, yeah, I mean, the most frustrating part is any of these smart contracts is that you can't easily fetch data from
Yeah,
an
fair
external
enough, okay.
system. And that's important, right? That's
Right.
a big, important deal. You need to have this repeatability, right? You need to be able to replay the chain. And say, for example, if you're running smart contracts on replay, you need to fetch this data from this API or the server, and it's not there. The smart contract at the end is not going to have the same hash result.
Right.
And it's going to corrupt the whole chain.
So you don't think Oracle's are the answer to all this?
That, I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, yeah. Because then you can get in and out from either side. But yeah, is that something that you guys are focusing on?
Well, I think that's one of those things where that'll also evolve. I mean, to your point, people forget about the fact that if you are doing smart contracts running across the network, you need the same answer for all of them. Otherwise, you're not going to get consensus. You don't really, forget about that. It's not just one call. It's multiple calls by different nodes, but potentially at different times. And so, how do you synchronize and coordinate all of that? So there's going to be some sort of external technology that definitely needs to facilitate that. Yes. Yeah.
So I think we could go on this one for quite a while.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure we could.
All these topics together.
Absolutely.
So I do want to get a limit to the future, and we'll touch on it real quick because I know we can keep this short. But yeah, some of the things we've heard around blockchain and IoT. A very interesting concept of using blockchain to provide endpoint security or micropayments across IoT devices. You know, autonomous type of communications, ML, AI things. So, any thoughts on that? Anything you see? Anything you kind of feel? I mean, this is kind of a guy thing, right?
Yeah, how far in the future you kind of think?
Hey, you
decade
choose.
or
Yeah, you choose. Let's just, you know what? It's moving so fast. Let's just pick the next 18 to 24 months.
Okay, yeah. So, all right. So a couple years from now. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Well, you can go a lot of different directions with that. In terms, like, what are you thinking? What do you, in terms of?
I mean, yeah, that's going to be tough. If we can answer this,
Yeah,
then I should go buy a lottery ticket because I would know.
or you know what to invest in, right?
I mean, this is definitely one of those things where the technology is going to continue to evolve. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah.
There are going to need to be a lot of changes that need to happen in order for broader adoption, especially within the enterprise. I think you'll see a number of different flavors of blockchain technology stacks continue to be created because there's optimizations that you can make for different use cases.
Yes.
So while there will be a few leaders of the pack, I think you'll have different flavors, and an organization will probably have more than one. I think you'll also see a more blending of what private permission blockchain networks and public blockchain networks. The delineation between the two, I think, will be blurred. I don't think it'll be clearly it's Bitcoin or this. I think it'll be kind of this blending together. Maybe it's not Bitcoin, but it'll be a blending together.
Yeah, very definitely the applications of private blockchain and public blockchain, right? Because the decentralization is an important part of that.
Right.
And you know, if the organization itself owns its own blockchain, yeah, it's going to distribute it across servers. Right? That's controlled by single entities, so things, you know, are under control. So you don't have that same like, you know, mentality of like it's free,
Right.
like you do whatever you need to do. Yeah, that's behind the scenes. So very different use cases like you're describing.
Okay.
IOTA and IoT, right?
Right.
That one keeps getting mixed in, but they say they don't use a blockchain, right?
Right.
They use
Right.
DAG, right?
Yeah, it's a DAG with essentially you got to verify 2 transactions before you can submit your own transaction, right? So it's definitely much more of a non-ledger based approach, yes. Because of performance.
Yep, you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can't have all those verification going on.
And the transaction costs would be part of it too.
Yep.
Right.
Well, great talk today. You know, very, very informative.
Crash course.
We're learning a lot. I mean, and this is a fun conversation because there's just so many different ways blockchain can go. So many things are happening right now in the industry. There are a lot of trends, and there's going to be a lot of influence, right, that we believe on blockchain. Like IoT is going to be an influencer on another use case of blockchain. So certainly enjoyed it. Thank you both for your time. I know you guys are
Thank you.
very busy. Appreciate it. And that concludes our chat for today. So thank you for joining.
Appreciate it.